Hi guys, welcome to my coloring evenings channel. I am Marina. In this video series, I will dive into my completed coloring pages I have done since I started my coloring journey. I will also look at my coloring book color. We will talk about different art tastes and their styles, and I will show you some of my favorite completed pages. You will see my very first tries and the latest creations. Today's video is super exciting. I will show you my Hanna Karlzon coloring books and all the pages I have colored in them. I started with Hanna Karlzon collection because my adult coloring journey began with her books. She is one of my favorite illustrators. We will look at each book, flip through the pages I have colored, and I will tell you a bit about why I love them so much. Get your coloring tools ready and make yourself comfy. Let's start this colorful journey together. Let's talk about Hanna Karlzon's coloring book series. They come into two main types. Old books, these are a bit wider and have more pages to color. The covers have soft light colors. And new books, these are narrow and have fewer pages to color. I enjoy coloring in her older books more, but I also like the specific themes in her newer books. No matter which type of book you choose, Hanna Karlzon's images are always detailed and fun. The first book is Daydreams. Here I have some whips and a few completed pages. And here is a coloring page I started a while ago, but haven't finished yet. It brings back good memories. I remember buying my set of polychromos colored pencils and trying them out on this page. Looking at now, I can see how my coloring style has changed. For the rabbit fur, I didn't draw each hair. Instead, I just used the shading technique. I'm not sure if I will ever finish this page, but who knows, maybe someday I will return to it with my new skills and complete it. Here, as you can see, I have only just begun working on the background. This is where I practice my shading techniques, trying to create depth and dimensions. I stopped working on this page at this point. I'm not entirely sure why I set it aside. Looking at now, I can see the potential in this unfinished work. Who knows, maybe someday I will return to this image and finish it. The next completed page are these beautiful butterflies. This is also old work. Again, I tested new coloring supplies here. For the colorful butterfly, I used Staedtler fine liners. The result looks really nice. These fine liners work great, especially with pastel colors. It doesn't make dark lines. I still love using them for coloring. Moving on to the blue butterfly, I used Prismacolor pencils. There is nothing particularly special about this coloring. Here I am practicing the shading technique. And then next, whip here. This one I started a while ago but haven't finished yet. I tried to make the bottle look natural. For this picture I used Prismacolor colored pencils. I also tried something new. I used acrylic paints to cover up the black lines on the water lily. This was the first time I mixed different art supplies in one image. And the next finished page in this book, it is birds. I used Prismacolor pencils to make a smooth color gradient for the background. This helped me learn how to blend colors and create depth in my work. It's cool to see how I used to color leaves before. Now I have a new way of coloring them. And the following completed image is this peacock. It's one of my older works. There is nothing really special about it. I tried to use shading here, but I didn't shade the bird's body, so it looks flat to me. For this image I used Prismacolor pencils to color the peacock and soft pastels for the background. And the last unfinished image here is This one. I tried to make the mushrooms look wet from rain, but I don't think you can truly see that. I used Prismacolor pencils for this, and I think I used Neocolors too for the background. I really don't like how this image turned out. The shading is too light, and I wouldn't say I like how I did the raindrops. They look a bit childish, and the shading isn't great either. Now I like to make my pictures look deeper and more real. It's interesting to see how my coloring has changed over time. Let's move on to the next coloring book in my collection. It's Summer Night. I have only colored a few pictures in it so far. And first is this monochromatic woman with a butterfly. Back then it was trendy to color the woman in natural colors and for the butterfly to use something bright and colorful. Yes, and as you can see, I just repeated after others. But it was so exciting and challenging at the same time to color the skin and learn where to put shadows and highlights. I still like how the face turns out. Here I didn't color the black lines, and I think I didn't have the right tools for that then. Here I used Prismacolor pencils, some metallic gold gel pens for the stars. And next, let's look at the beautiful pictures of flower bloom. I remember feeling both excited and nervous about coloring it. I really liked the image and was worried that I might ruin it. But as you can see, it turned out pretty well. This was the first time I tried to color a bouquet background. I like everything about this picture, the colors I choose and how I blend them. It's a really nice image overall. The next coloring book in my collection is Magical Dawn. Let's look at the completed pages here. And first is Belong page. It's almost done. I started it a long time ago and now I'm not sure I like how it looks. I don't really want to finish it now because I would color differently today. This happens with some of my old pictures. I lose interest in completing them. For this one I used Prismacolor pencils. To be honest, there are only a few old pictures that I still really like. Like this one, most of them show how my coloring style has changed over time. And next completed page is these big red flowers. Here I used Prismacolor pencils and soft pastels to create the background. I used a white gel pen for highlights and some metallic gel pens for the stars. I think coloring something in red with depth and highlights is challenging. This picture isn't perfect, but I still think the flowers look pretty. It was a good practice for me. And the following image is this heart with wings. Here I used Prismacolor pencils and soft pastels for the background as usual, and some metallic gel pen for dots and stars. This is one of my earliest works, and I'm still pleased with how this heart turned out, especially the color choice and gradient. Of course, I would color it differently now, but I think it's a nice result for a beginner. And the last image in this book is this bottle. As usual, I used Prismacolor pencils, soft pastels for the background and metallic gel pen for the dots and stars. I am really pleased with how the bottle cap turned out. I actually followed a YouTube tutorial for this one, but I can't remember who it was now. It's a such lovely image. The next coloring book in my collection is Seasons. This is my favorite Hanna's old style books, and one day I really want to complete it. The first image that I want to show you is this one. It's one of my newest ones. For this picture I use different kinds of pencils, Derwent Drawing, Derwent Lightfast and Polychromos. I also use soft pastels to color the background and acrylic paint pens for small details. If you compare this picture to the older ones I showed you before, you can see how my skills are improved. I really like how this one turned out. It shows how much I learned about coloring over time. Of course, I still have a lot to learn. And the following image is this woman. It is my old work and first completed portrait, and I believe it turned out quite well. I used Prismacolor pencils, a white gel pen for the highlights and a soft pastel for the background. I appreciate the color combinations such as the nest and the flowers. Unfortunately, I didn't cover the black lines, however, I think I didn't have a tool to do that then. Overlay, it's a nice image with pleasant skin tone, I think. And the upcoming image is this magnolia flower. I used Prismacolor pencils and water-based markers for the dark blue background here. I like the shading on the magnolia petals and find the bird quite pleasant. However, the gradient behind the magnolia didn't turn out smoothly. Here, as you can see, I didn't cover black lines as well. Now I absolutely do that. Despite this, the overall image is decent. And the following completed image, here is this lake. I really appreciate how this image turned out. This is my recent work. I'm happy with how the frogs look and how I colored the water. The background has a nice gradient. Actually, I like everything about this picture. Here I used Derwent Color Soft and Procolor pencils and acrylic paint pens for the details. And let's look at the next image. At this witch. It was one of my earlier tries at coloring. In this picture I tried to make the galaxy background. I think it turned out pretty good. The cat's fur look a bit rough. I tried to blend colors here, but not everything seems as lovely as I wanted. For this image I used Prismacolor pencils for the most of the coloring, white and gold gel pens for small shiny details, and black acrylic paint for the dark background. And the following image is this colorful autumn woman. I made this one a while ago, but I still really like it. I'm happy with most of the picture. The only part I'm not sure about is the skin, but everything else looks pretty lovely, I think. For this image I used Neocolors 2 for the background. I think I used Prismacolor pencils for the rest, but I'm not completely sure. And the last one completed image in this book is this mouse. You can see that the background isn't smooth. I want to fix it, but I need some ideas how can I do it. If you look at the mouse, you will notice I didn't draw each hair of its fur. Instead, I just used shading technique. This is another part I want to fix. For this image, I used Neocolors 2 for the background, Prismacolor pencils for most of the coloring, and white Posca marker for small bright details. Hey color lovers, enjoying our colorful journey? Join our community by subscribing and hit notification bell so you never miss the upcoming video. Can't wait to see you in our new artistic adventure. And the last coloring book in my collection from the previous edition by Hanna Karlzon is Spirit Animals. Here I completed only one image. And it is this queen. It's one of my recent work and I am pretty pleased how it turns out. I'm a little bit disappointed with the red chair. As I mentioned, something in red is complicated to color and add dimensions to the object, at least for me. I like how I made a background to imitate the eyes on them, and I like how the penguins turns out, especially white fur. Yeah, nice image. I used Neocolors too for the background, they went Colorsoft, Procolor and white gel pen for all the details. Despite the challenging with the red chair, I am generally happy with this image. Now let's take a look at Hanna Karlzon's new book editions. These books are a bit different from her older ones. The new books are slightly narrower than before. These books have less images to color. They also have a slightly, I would say, fresh style of images. But don't worry, you can still easily tell it's Hanna Karlzon's work. Her unique style is easy to recognize. And the first book in this series is Tales from the Midnight Masquerade. As the title suggests, here we have images connected with masquerade. Here I have completed several images. The first image in this book is this woman. I am generally pleased with how it turns out. Her face and hair look great. The dress is pretty too. I used Neocolor 2 for the background, Polychromos pencils, different Colorsoft Procolor pencils for the hair. I'm happy with how this picture looks. It's a nice image. And the last completed page in this book. Here I use different pencils for it, Prismacolor pencils for the background, different Procolor, different Colorsoft pencils for the rest. I don't know if you can see, but some spots are in the background and I don't really like it. After this picture I stopped using Prismacolor pencils. I discovered that Prismacolor can fade over time and make waxy spots on some paper. But let's talk about this picture. I really like how it looks now. I'm happy I used dark blue instead of just black for the background. The dark blue background makes it more interesting. I wouldn't say I like black backgrounds. I think that look flat and dull for me. The following book is Tales from the Forest Kingdom. It is my favorite book from the new series and I want to finish this book one day as well. Here I completed several images. And the first one is Forest Fairies. It's my recent work and I'm happy with how it turned out. For this image I used lots of different art supplies. It was fun to mix them all together. I started with the background. For that I used Schmincke Super Granulating watercolors. It makes the background look really interesting. Then to make it look like there was moss, I used acrylic paints and even sparkled some salt on it while it was wet. This creates a cool texture effect. For the mushrooms I picked luminance pencils. These pencils are perfect for making things look soft and smooth. For the fairies I used different Colorsoft and Procolor pencils. I also used acrylic paints to cover up the black lines. And at the very end I added some sparkle. I used metallic paints to make parts of the picture shine. When I look at this image now, I love it. It makes me feel happy and proud. And the last one completed image in this book is this fairy as well, but more simpler. Here I tried Kuretake watercolors using the wet on wet technique. Kuretake watercolors are extraordinary watercolors, I think. They are thicker than normal ones. It turned out lovely, but you must be careful when using these paints because they are so thick. For the green background I use Schmincke Super Granulating watercolors. These watercolors make a cool grainy effect that looks really pretty. For the circle frame around the fairy I used gold metallic watercolors. It gives a nice shiny look, and different Colorsoft and Procolor pencils I used these for the rest. I love how this picture turned out. The Kuretake watercolors are so lovely to use. They are kind of like a mix between regular watercolors and gouache. They make the colors look bold and bright. The next coloring book in my collection is Tales from the Witch's Cottage. I think this book is more Halloween-y with witches and their attributes. Here I completed a few images as well. And the first one is this dahlia flower. Here I used Kuretake watercolors for the green background, and you can see how both colors are. Really like it. On top of the Kuretake watercolors I added a pearlescent watercolors, but unfortunately it bleeding through completely. And now I don't know what I will do with this image, but we'll see. Yeah, and for the rest I used Derwent Procolor and Color Soft pencils and a white gel pen for dots. It's a very simple image, but I still like how it turned out. And the last completed image in this book is this one, Halloween Witch. I use different art supplies for this image. The background is really cool. I use super granulating watercolors, they make it look attractive. Then I added pearlescent watercolors and white paint to make it shine a little. It reminds me of a starry night sky. For the witch and other parts I used different Lightfast pencils. These pencils have dark and muted color palettes. I really like how they look together. The cat looks a bit scary. At first I wasn't sure if I liked that, but then I thought, well, it's a Halloween picture with a witch, so maybe it's okay for the cat to look a bit creepy. Now I think it adds to the spooky feelings of the whole picture. When I look at this picture, I feel happy with how it turned out. The dark colors and the sparkly background work well together. It has a mysterious feelings which I prefer for witch pictures. The following coloring book is Tales from the City Among the Stars. This book has a steampunk theme. It's not my style, but some images are lovely and I would like to color them. Unfortunately, I haven't completed any of the images from this book yet. And the last one, Hanna's book in my current collection, is Tales from Atlantis. Here we have an undersea theme. It's a lovely book, but I'm slightly disappointed that we have just a few mermaids and a lot of portraits here. When we think about mermaids, what is the most attractive in them? It is their tails, of course. Tails is the most beautiful and challenging to color in mermaids, at least for me. You can use different and unusual color combinations and add some exciting and shiny details. But in this book we have a lot of portraits where the mermaid is without her beautiful tail. And here I have completed only one image, and it is this mermaid. Here I use Schmincke Super Granulating watercolors for the background, Derwent Color Soft and Procolor pencils, Polychromos pencils for the mermaid, some dark shades of Lightfast pencils and luminance pencils. Finally, I used acrylic paint pens for the details, and I really appreciate how this image turned out. And there you have it, guys. We have explored my collection of Hanna Karlzon beautiful coloring books and my completed pages. As you have seen, my coloring journey has been filled with experiments, learning experiences, and moments of pure joy. I have tried various techniques from blending color pencils to watercolors technique. Some attempts were more successful than others. I hope this video inspired you to pick up your coloring tools and embark on our artistic adventure. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about enjoying the process, learning new skills, and expressing yourself through color. If you enjoyed this peek into my coloring world, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more coloring content. Share your thoughts and coloring experiences in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for joining me on this colorful journey. Until next time, keep those pencils sharp and your imagination wild. Happy coloring, everyone!